Citizens of Muskegon County have grown accustomed to a high quality of life. This includes beautiful natural environmental conditions, wonderful spaces which give the county a sense of place, affordable neighborhoods, and manageable traffic conditions. This quality of life we have grown to love is special here in Muskegon County and fragile. It could be lost if we don't practice good stewardship. In 2002, local governments and community leaders, with assistance from the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission, initiated the Muskegon Area-Wide Plan. The West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission is a regional planning agency that promotes and fosters regional developments in West Michigan through cooperation amongst local governments. The mission of the MAP is to involve citizens in creating a shared vision for the future of Muskegon County. The MAP initiated a planning process to assess the qualities of Muskegon County and begin a public discussion process to discuss how best Muskegon County should grow in order to protect our assets and quality of life. Over the course of the public involvement process, nearly 1,000 people participated in meetings, presentations, and surveys. As a result of the feedback gained through the public participation process, 5 main vision areas have been established, including land use and growth, natural resources, open space and environment, economy and jobs, infrastructure, and quality of life. All cities face the issue of managing new growth while balancing the quality of life. In the late 1970s, Muskegon County accommodated its population of 158,000 within 58 square miles of land. Since 1978, the Muskegon area, similar to other metropolitan areas, has experienced sprawl or unmanaged growth. We have grown by 13,000 people, but have used nearly 23 more square miles for this urbanization. Planners from the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission have determined that Muskegon County is projected to grow by another 22,000 in the next 20 years. We will absorb another 30 square miles if we continue our sprawling pattern. If we continue to grow in the sprawling manner we have in the last 20 years, we must be cognizant that we will have to deal with the following effects. We will lose nearly 9,000 acres or 14 square miles of our county's farmland. We will lose an additional 3,000 acres of forested land. Because much of this growth will be in outlying county road areas, we will need to build new fire stations to assure that these new residents are within an 8-minute response time for emergency services, which is the county's desired average response time. Much of this growth is projected to occur outside not only the existing but the future service area of sanitary sewers. Like much of the growth over the past 20 years, this growth of over 13,000 people and their corresponding households will utilize septic fields. Approximately 4 million gallons per day of new sewage will be added to the septic fields, therefore putting additional strain on the quality of our groundwater. Finally, because of this spread-out development pattern, residents will be required to travel greater distances to their place of employment or for shopping. It is estimated that in 20 years, our sprawled pattern of growth will result in more than 450,000 additional vehicle miles traveled. This pattern will put an additional strain on our roads and air quality. Our business-as-usual or sprawling pattern of development has financial implications on all of us. This can only be resolved by lowering our standard of living or increasing our tax rate to pay for these added miles of paved roadway, increased linear feet of water and sewer lines, and increased number of fire stations. A second option, called the zoning build-out scenario, was also considered. This option showed what Muskegon County would look like if we were to develop the way we are currently zoned. This would allow for over 880,000 residents, or a population equivalent to Indianapolis or Honolulu. This population will consume nearly 175,000 acres of land, which is roughly half of the total land area in Muskegon County. Current zoning does not provide adequate direction for future development, nor does it protect our public investments. Is this how we want Muskegon County to grow? No was the overwhelming answer, as participants in the MAP project chose an alternative manner to growth, a smart growth scenario. The smart growth scenario encourages the bulk of our growth to go into areas that are already served or planned to be served by centralized water facilities. The smart growth scenario allows Muskegon County to direct growth into areas where planned and invested infrastructure already exists. We have the capacity in our existing and planned water and wastewater facilities to accommodate this growth. We have a good regional transportation system to handle the anticipated traffic of these new 22,000 residents. Through the smart growth scenario, we will save the cost of investing in nearly 150 miles of new water and wastewater lines. We will reduce over 200,000 vehicle miles traveled in a day and the corresponding air pollution created by those trips in the smart growth scenario. We will treat nearly 4 million gallons per day of sewage that would otherwise go into our ground for septic treatment. We will save the taxpayers from the cost of building and staffing new fire stations. Finally, we will cut in half the amount of farmland and forested areas that will be lost to development. Smart growth makes a lot of financial and environmental sense for Muskegon County.
They want me to talk this morning about the Muskegon area-wide plan. Sometimes I call it the CISO-B DeMille plan. 10 years in the making and a cast of thousands. And really we're about 5 years into the plan by now. But it's a bottoms-up grassroots effort to make this thing happen. It's really an idea whose time has come. We don't have a county-wide regional development plan. The communities decided amongst themselves that this was probably the best time to put one together. As we look over the beaches here, you can see the lovely shoreline that we've had, and what some of the community leaders have done in the past to save this for the public to use. We're at probably another point in time where maybe, while there's still time, we can save some of the precious natural resources that we have within the communities. And if one thing comes out of this, that the planning commissions realize that we're overzoned. We're actually zoned to accommodate 880,000 people in Muskegon County, that if there's anything you want to save, now is the time to save it. One of the elements of smart growth is saving a community money. People don't think of it in terms of their own pocketbook, but when you look at the enormous costs that the whole community absorbs to put in infrastructure when you have large lot developments, it really gets exorbitant. A good example is in some of the communities where you have 2.5 and 3 acre sites to bring sewer and water into those areas. It could be as much as $5,000, $6,000 for water and $9,000, $10,000, or even $12,000 for sewer. Some of the smaller cluster type developments, you can put something like that in for maybe 2/3 and sometimes a half of the cost, depending upon where and how far you have to run the pipe. Other costs come under the heading of schools, police, fire, getting those emergency services to communities gets to be very expensive when you spread it over a wide area.
The MAP project is very important to our community because we need to create balance in our lives and balance in development. Through the MAP project, we'll be able to create concentrated development which will encourage open space, and we need to have both of these in order to ensure economic vitality. Many people are concerned about the future of Muskegon County and how it is progressing, but we have something very valuable here, something that money can't buy, and we need to protect it. And by protecting our natural beauty, we'll also protect the economic vitality of our community, because that's what brings people here and that's what attracts investment.
Well, smart growth makes sense for the county in that we don't use up all the space, all the land. We can sort of put development where it belongs, housing, businesses, and particularly streets. Well, if we're able to implement the MAP program, I just can't imagine how Muskegon County can't grow. In my mind, we haven't followed any cohesive programs as of yet. We've followed what our hearts told us and not what really makes common sense. And at some point, we've got to sort of get things together and be more practical about what we're doing. Maybe insert a little heart in it, but basically being more practical. That's what's going to last in the long run. Well, smart growth should be supported by many people, particularly businesses who have to thrive, industry who has to thrive, and it also means that there are more jobs right at home for people. It just makes practical sense to use smart growth just to get where you want to go. It's amazing what you can do with planning, and if people just follow what the planners put out there on the table, make adjustments, we can go far.
This MAP project and the Smart Growth Initiative is a real challenge for the community. Someone once told me that the future really belongs to those who bother to show up. And I've seen that happen in public meetings around the community. Sometimes one or two people will decide for thousands of people the way their future is going to be. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to have a say, this is your time and this is your place to do it. Especially in the community forums that we have coming and the follow-up sessions that will be following this MAP project.